Let's get going, shall we?
Hello everybody and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Today we are talking all about stem cells with the lovely Danny, who actually went through the whole stem cell process, and we are so excited to find out more. I know so many of you have asked across our Instagram channel all the questions about stem cells. So hopefully we can answer a few today. We've listed down a few and we're going to have a lovely conversation because me, for one, I am very intrigued to find out more about the process of stem cells and how it works, especially here in Dubai, because I mean it's a thought that goes through your head, isn't it? When you become pregnant, you're like, should I not?
Absolutely. In this country, at least. I mean, in Canada, I don't even think. I mean, none of my friends even, even spoke about it. I don't know. At first, I was like, is it a Dubai thing? And then a couple of people in the UK had said they did it as well, and it's legit and it's science, baby. It's science.
I know. Honestly, it's so sad. I've known far too many children who have suffered from, leukemia, especially.
Oh my gosh, I know. I can't even think about that.
It's genuinely my biggest fear in life, and so if I was to be able to remove that fear completely or even partially, I feel like it would be massively worth it. Anyway, so I feel like rewind. Tell me, stem cells, what are they?
So stem cells are collected at birth. It's in the umbilical cord. So you're getting a really high, like an intense stem cell for that baby, for your baby, right at birth. So you can find these types of stem cells as well in bone marrow and in the skin, but they're really highly concentrated in the umbilical cord.
Wow. Okay.
So it's literally captured, baby's born, umbilical cord is cut, and then it's taken and it's, sealed up and delivered to the lab.
Did you see it? Did you see the, sorry, I mean, my brain is now going, so they like have the umbilical cord and they squeeze it out, like a sausage and the sausage casing. You know what I mean? I'm guessing it's probably not like that. So they just whip it away and do it all for you.
Well, funny thing is, my husband cut the cord and he said that it was like cutting off the top of a cigar. It was so hard to cut.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, because other people have said it's quite spongy.
Oh really? No, he referred to it as like cutting off the top of a cigar. Like
you
have to do it with like, some force. You can't just like snip and that's it. So I didn't see any of it, to be honest. I just took the kit to the hospital, informed the doctor, and then they took care of everything else.
Okay, so they give you a kit?
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back and discuss the process. So at what point in your pregnancy did the conversation come up? Was it your doctor who approached you to discuss it, or is it something you knew you wanted to do?
I'd heard about it. It's just one of those things when you ask around and you're like, okay, so what are the upcoming expenses that go along with having a baby? And people were like, there's night nurse, of course, and they're like, what about your, saving the baby's cord blood? And I'm like, okay, what's that? So we asked around, because we're one of the last couples to have babies. Everyone else is on their like second or third. So we asked around, and the majority, I would say like 99% of our friends had done it.
Okay, and so, sorry, cord blood is the same as stem cells?
Yes.
So it's essentially the same thing?
So the cord blood is what they're taking, and inside there are stem cells.
Aha, okay. So when people have been throwing around the terminology cord blood before, I've always been like, what is that? Is that another thing I need to be doing?
I mean, I'm not sure if it's, I'm sure that the stem cells are inside it, but it's the cord blood that you need to capture to get to the stem cells.
Okay, fine. So you can sign up at any point during your pregnancy?
Yes, and we left it quite late actually, just because it's one of those things, it's a big cost. It's about the same as a month night nurse with, 6 days a week, 12-hour shifts. So,
oh wow.
But then, if you put it into perspective, it's like, okay, 1 month of night nurse or something that could save your baby's life if, God forbid, something does happen and you need it in the long run.
And the stem cells, so do they last for life? So if, let's say, your little girl had something wrong, when she was in her 20s, do they last that long? Or is it something that's more focused around the first 10, 15 years of the child's life?
I'm pretty sure that it's for life, but with the package, we only took 20 years.
Okay.
Which sounds so far in advance. You're like, okay,
no, that's amazing.
You have them kept in 2 different locations in the UK in labs, until 2041. You're like, okay, that sounds so crazy.
2041.
But, and this was one of the questions I asked, because of course it's more expensive if you take the 30 year or the 40 year. So I was like, okay, let's just start with 20. And then, you know, if we want to extend, you can just pay whatever extra fee to extend it then.
Oh my God, amazing. Okay, so yeah, so we're thinking more lifetime.
Yes.
And then, I mean, I'm guessing this is a question that you might not be able to answer, but could these stem cells then be used for your daughter's children, potentially in the future?
Daughter's children, I don't know. Siblings and parents, there's like a 25% that they'll be compatible.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you know someone has leukemia and they need stem cells, or if your child has leukemia and you've gone to other family members, you might not be a right match. But within your family, like your siblings or your parents, it's a 25%.
That's amazing. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go through some of the questions that we've had from everybody. Okay, how did you choose the company to store your stem cells?
To be completely honest, we asked about 10 couples who had gone through this process, and I would say 8 of them out of the 10 used the same company, Cells for Life.
Okay, amazing. And I mean, is there any form of accreditation that people should be looking for?
There is. I think just the length of time they've been around. So they've been around for 19 years. They have an office in Healthcare City, and literally the box is collected like right away as soon as it's ready to go. I don't know who called them to collect it. I guess it was either a midwife or one of the nurses, and it was collected and then delivered to the UK within, I believe it's within like 48 hours. It might be even less than that.
Wow.
And then there's some technology that only they have. I don't know the name of it, but it's a technology that keeps it cool.
Okay.
During the transportation.
Wow.
Because this obviously has to be kept like at a certain temperature. So they have everything installed in the kit, so it's seamless. I mean, if you are paying all that, you have one shot.
Yeah.
And if something happens to your sample on the way to the UK, I mean,
do you get your money back?
I don't know.
I really hope so.
But I think I'm sure.
Cashback guarantee.
Or okay, they'll give you one on your in the next round, like hopefully if you're having another child. But I think they've done everything they can to ensure that doesn't happen. So they have that technology that I don't know if everyone else has, but that's one of their unique selling points. And just I had all these questions, and instead of them replying back to me saying, check the website, someone actually took the time to explain everything, asked if I wanted a phone call to talk about it, and they were just really receptive.
Yeah, that's useful.
And I was like, because you don't know, like and you're reading, all these different websites, you're comparing prices, but you don't really know, like it's not, all the jargon is unfamiliar and you're not really sure, so.
Exactly, and also I feel that, the price straight away can put you off, and then, you need that information to make sure that you feel comfortable with the decision you're making and the cash that you're parting, especially the night nurse.
Totally. So what I did actually, this is my mentality. So there's like, I don't know if you want to say like a silver, bronze, and gold. That's not how they've categorized it, but there's 3 different prices. I'm like, okay, I'll just take the middle one, because you don't want to have the cheapest one, because you might be missing out on something. And the most expensive one, you're like, don't know if I need all those bells and whistles, so we'll just go for the one in the middle.
I like that. I like that. It's always a safe option, the middle option. I like that a lot. Okay, what do we have next? What sort of diseases and illnesses can stem cells help or cure?
There are 85 conditions that they can help or cure. What stood out for me is blood cancers. So leukemia, I don't know if it can cure it, but it can definitely help.
Yeah. That's a big one for me.
They are doing research right now to help autism. So there are trials that are going on right now. I know so many autistic kids, especially in Dubai.
Yeah.
And if this can help them, I mean, that would be amazing.
That's incredible.
There's also solid tumors, immune disorders, and blood disorders like sickle cell, anemia.
You can definitely read off that list.
Gosh, sorry.
I would have no clue, so please inform us.
Metabolic disorders, Crab disease, Hurley syndrome, leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and immune disorders, it just says immune disorders, but I think there's a range of different immune disorders. And there's 85 things. I actually do have the list of every single one, but for me, I was just like, oh my gosh, blood cancers.
That for me would be the top one.
For sure.
It just, yeah. My mind can't even go there. I feel like, let's not go there. Okay, so we've already gone through how you gather stem cells, but you said something about a kit. Mm-hmm. So the kit, I'm guessing, is delivered to you at some point before you go to the hospital.
Yes, and I couldn't make up my mind. So bless, what's his name? Darren, I think it's Darren. We were on WhatsApp together and he was like, have you decided? Do you want to go ahead? Because he knew, like, I was like, okay, I'm due in a few weeks. He's like, you know, it might come early, which it did. She came early. So he was really, you know, he wanted me to get the kit as soon as, you know, before I went to the hospital. So he was always checking up on me. He was like, okay, have you decided? Can we deliver? And yeah, he got it to me like a few days before I ended up having to go to the hospital.
Okay, wow. And no instruction manual? He's literally like, here you go, give it to your doctor when you arrive, and then they take care of the rest?
They've done this so many times before.
Okay, fine. Okay, so it's not like you have to learn how to manage the pack.
But one thing he said, he was like, just be sure that you actually take the kit with you. If you're being moved from one room to another to deliver, don't forget, because you need it like as soon as the cord gets cut.
Husband job.
Husband job, exactly. So
sure.
Husband's job was putting it in the car and then making sure it was there and given to the nurse and she was informed.
Yeah, important job. I mean, it's the least they can do, let's be honest.
Right.
They're not pushing a small human out of a very small hole. So yeah, no, for sure. And then in terms of like the quality of the stem cells, are all stem cells considered good quality? Do they test them for their quality?
They did test them, and I received an SMS when the kit arrived at the main lab, and then it gets separated and goes to another lab. So they keep you updated along the way. And then I got a certificate that was couriered saying,
that's nice.
Yeah, that basically says, however, whatever the amount, I think it was like 90% are usable from what was retrieved.
Oh wow, so you had mega stem cells. We call that. Okay, I love
mega.
that.
So you get a little certificate, there's 2 cards. You have to just keep these somewhere safe, for if you ever do need to call them.
Okay.
Hopefully you never do.
No, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Then cost. Obviously, I know you said earlier that lots of like the prices range from company to company, but like ballpark, what are we talking for like entry level stem cell?
I think the entry level was around 10.
Okay.
And then the maximum was like 18. So we ended up paying, we were something around 14, the 14, 15 mark.
Do you know what? That's so much more reasonable than I thought. When we looked at one company, the price was like 25, 30, 35K, and I was literally like, what?
Yeah.
But actually, that is more manageable.
Yeah, so I would say, okay, maybe not 10, because that seems a bit on the low side, but maybe like the lowest was around 12,
yeah.
The highest was 18, and we paid like around 14, 15.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable. Yeah. And obviously, if you didn't do it for your first, you could do it for your second. There's nothing from stopping you. And as you mentioned earlier, there is the potential possibility to share the stem cells. Mm-hmm. So on that point, could you donate stem cells?
You can donate. There is somewhere in the UAE where you can do that. You have the option to donate your baby's cord blood in the UAE to the UAE Dubai Cord Blood Research Center. So the DCRC accepts donated cord blood for research.
But okay, so it's not necessarily, obviously your own stem cells couldn't help another child.
Well, it says for research. I don't know if they do have that program.
Okay.
But I know that there is somewhere that you can actually donate them.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. That's really wonderful. What if I need the start again. What if I need the cells, but I'm in a different country, i.e. you move home? So actually, you mentioned earlier that you have all your cells in the UK already.
Right.
Which is amazing.
But that's where their main lab is.
Fine.
So it goes there and it goes to 2 separate locations.
Why is that?
And I believe that's an option that we opted for. I think the lowest package, it only goes to 1 location. So if you think in the future, you don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, one might burn down.
Exactly. Like what if there's, something that happens and the building gets destroyed, or there's a fire, or there's always a backup plan.
Yeah.
So we thought, okay, and I think you can actually split them even more. I think there's an option to go 3.
Wow.
We took 2, and I think our odds are okay on that.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then, so what if you wanted to move back to Canada, for example? Could you move them to be with you there?
You could. So if you do need to retrieve them, you contact Cells for Life, and then they will arrange the transport to wherever
you want them.
Okay. I think that's why we're paying such a hefty price. And if you think about it, I mean, most people are not using theirs. So, okay, if we do go back to Canada, transporting it to Canada, I mean, I don't know, it's not going to be crazy costly for them, but it has to be an approved illness or condition. So you have 85, and it has to be on that list.
Okay.
Like, I don't think if there is some, revolutionary, beauty thing you can do to like help with, anti-aging, I don't know if they'll do it for that, but it has to be on the list of, diseases or conditions.
Okay, fine. And if you wanted to keep them here with you, is that also an option, or do they normally not have the storage facilities here?
I don't know the answer to that, but I know that they have an office here.
Okay.
But they store them in the UK.
Okay.
And the UK is where they have all their accreditation.
Okay, great.
So it's all governed under the UK.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. And just to finish off, how did you find the whole process? Would you recommend it? Would you do it again?
I mean, it's one of those things, it's like, if I don't do it and something happens, do you really want that guilt?
No, never.
And you're like,
okay, having this conversation, I'm like, I need to do it.
It's like literally the same price as a night nurse. You're going to pay for that, so why wouldn't you pay for having that? It's just, when you're researching in it and you're looking at all the costs, and I think the night nurse came after she was born.
Yeah.
After I, sort of, you don't really think of that. I didn't preempt that I was going to have a night nurse, so.
No.
And then the stem, oh my God, game changer for sure. And then the stem cells is something you have to decide before the baby's born.
Yeah.
So you're sort of like, oh my God, like, with, building the nursery and everything else, okay, and then there's another like 15 grand on top. But then you're like, okay, I don't want to be responsible. And that's why I said to my husband, I'm like, I can't make this decision on my own. Like, what do you think? He was just like, do you want to be the parents that didn't do it and then needed it and then something happened? Like, let's just do it.
Exactly.
If you can financially, why not?
Completely.
On that point, they have payment plans.
Ooh.
They have payment plans, so you can pay in installments. And if you pay by bank transfer, I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, they'll give you 1,000 dirhams off. If you pay by credit card, they have to pay like some fee to the credit card company. So I was like, if I pay cash or direct transfer without credit card, do I get any discount? They're like, yeah, you can get 1,000 dirhams off. So.
Oh, okay, I love that. Okay,
Yeah,
that's a really
I totally
good nugget.
forgot to tell you.
Well, that is an amazing nugget.
I just thought of that now, yeah. So ask about that.
Okay, interesting.
Sorry, if you pay in one go.
Okay.
One go, bank transfer or cash.
You get a discount.
You get a discount.
2,000 dirhams off. Love that.
Yeah.
And actually, I do have one more question regarding the stem cells. So, could you use them more than once, or is it kind of like a one-time wonder, if that makes sense? So you said you got them stored in 2 different locations. Let's say you needed to use them for your daughter, and then maybe in the future you needed to use it for another child that you might have that you might not have stem cells for. Could you then use the same batch more than once?
You can.
Oh, okay.
You can, and then that's one of the reasons. I mean, they've separated them, and they're in 2 different locations. And yes, I'm 99% sure you can definitely use them more than once.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That wraps us up for today. Thank you so much, Danny. This was really, really insightful. Guys, as always, if you enjoyed this, please press the subscribe button. Give us button. Give us a big thumbs up.
On that side or that
side? Subscribe. Click it. And if you'd like to give us a little follow on Instagram, you can find us at We Are Mother Tongue. And as always, the podcast is across all your major podcast platforms. And Danny, can you tell everyone where they can find you if they'd like to ask you any other questions about stem cells?
Sure. I would say the best place is on Instagram, and I'm GypsyFit, DXB.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Until next time. See you. Bye.